Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Justin's with us out of Arnold, Missouri on 4. Hey, Justin, what's going on here, man?
So, since I spoke with you last, and even a little bit before then, I've been kind of going through some major back issues, and I'm possibly looking at another back surgery. And, you know, I shoot a lot. I'm sure you are aware of that with the amount of questions and calling I've been having with you in discussion. But with the back injuries I have from fellow shooters with a lot of experience, I was recommended to pass on my big bore guns. I love shooting big bore, but my back and my family is more important than a piece of iron and wood.
Okay, so what are we talking about when you say big bore? What are we talking about?
45-70 and my 444 Marlin I had. And so just kind of based on their advice, I went out and I just tested it. You know, on a good day when my back was feeling good, went out and I did some shooting. And when I stood up from the bench and when I was done, I could tell. I could tell I'd been shooting. I could feel what it had done to me. And so I was recommended nothing over like a 30-06. When I shoot my grandfather's Arisaka, it's 180 grain bullet doing about 2,400 feet per second with my reloads. And it does not affect me. I can shoot it a lot in a day and no issue.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you kind of have that same feeling from your experience in the industry? Do you know people with back injuries who've dealt with this?
Are you shooting from the bench?
Mostly, yes. I don't really have too much opportunity to shoot my rifles other than from a bench.
Okay.
I mean, I could get into like prone positions, but that absolutely kills my back.
Oh, yeah. Prone's tough because you're picking your head up, and that's hard on your lower back. I'm assuming this is a lower back deal?
Yeah, lower lumbar, upper S. It's L4 to S1 are where my major issue is. So right at my pivot point on my pelvic bone. Yeah. Is where I'm having my issues.
Question for you. Now I'm going to ask a couple of detailed questions here. Your shooting bench setup. Are you having to lean over to get behind the gun, or can you keep a relatively straight back from the bench? Because what I find is that a lot of shooting benches, you end up having to kind of lean over and hunker over to get behind the gun.
And that is the scenario on this. The shooting benches that we have at our gun club, they're your everyday concrete or made out of wood shooting benches for your average shooter. So you do kind of lay into it. You cradle the firearm using your sandbag rest or whatever it is you may use as a rest. So.
Does the bench have its own seat, or can you bring your own chair/seat?
They're built with their own seat.
Okay, because I was thinking if you could get a lower chair, you could be more upright.
Right.
I think what you're describing is a combination of things that are going on. I mean, of course, I've watched a lot of doctor shows, so I know all about medicine stuff.
Well,
so if you listen to me on this, you're crazy.
Me a lot in the 90s. Yeah. I figured maybe you might know somebody who has had these experiences.
I've had lower back. I come from a long line of lower back pain family. So, but I think that the position is more important than the recoil. And you probably are tensing up and then taking some pretty good hits when you're shooting the big stuff, and when you're shooting the lighter recoiling guns, you're not. Now, having said all that, if shooting the big guns hurts your back, stop shooting the big guns. Now, obviously, you get all the medical help you need, but at the same time, I mean, people are saying, hey, have you tried low recoil ammo? You could try a lead. Are you familiar with a lead sled? What that is?
I do know what a lead sled is, and actually I have not had an opportunity to shoot from one yet, just because it's not. I don't have one. My father has one, and he said I can try it out, but it's just one of those things where rifle shooting is new to me. In the whole realm of shooting, I've always been a pistol and a shotgun shooter. I shoot trap and 5-stand league. I've even reduced my trap load down to 1 ounce and 1,100 feet per second. I mean, I'm talking like soft recoil and
yeah. You know what? You'll break more targets with that load than you will with the heavier loads too.
I got my new trap gun, Browning. The new crossover Browning, and the first box. Never shot it before. I ran them.
Yep. Going to lighter loads, and the people go, wait, I want more shot. No, go with lighter loads in your shotgun. When they went to the super light loads in international trap, people thought, well, we can't break as many targets. And they actually broke more targets because of the less fatigue, less recoil, shooting lighter loads. So, yes, a 1 ounce load will break all the targets on a trap or skeet field you want to load. You want to break, and actually even a 7/8 ounce load will do the same thing. So just kind of thinking about that. But let's go back to your rifle shooting. If you're new to this, I'm just going to suggest you try working on your position when you're sitting. Try to get your back a little bit straighter. Try not to contort, because there's a deal that, and I know what happens on these shooting benches, you're both bending over and twisting at the same time. And that's about as bad as it can be for a back. So just saying, I mean, having been a guy who, couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks because of a bad back, I'm familiar with the whole deal. I would say, obviously work with your doctor, but also take a look at your shooting position and work on that as well. I think it's a combination of the bench. If you could try a different bench, if you could try a lower seat, or even maybe find a way to get that gun up considerably higher on higher bags, so that you don't have to hunker over so much. Keep adjusting things till it starts to feel a little bit more comfortable. You'll know when it's getting better. You'll be able to feel it. Look, I wish you luck with it. And look, I got to keep scooting here, Justin. I appreciate the call, sir, but you just be careful with that, because a bad back is so very debilitating. I mean, and the weird part is with backs, they will hurt you when you least expect it. I mean, I'm talking about I leaned over once to pick up a pair of gloves, and it hit my back. I just happened to be on a mountain in the Wrangell Mountains in Alaska, and I spent the next several days laid out in a little bitty mountain tent, and I couldn't get up, couldn't move, and then when it was all over, when it was time to go, we had to pack everything out on our backs, and that was brutal. And then when I got back home, I was down for 2 weeks. It's like barely be able to move. So I'm real familiar with the whole back thing. You got to honor it. I'm just going to share with you, I'm a big believer in finding a good chiropractor that can make a big difference, depending on what's wrong with the back, clearly. But I think a good chiropractor can help. If you can find a chiropractor who's a shooter, man, even better. Kind of describe the whole deal. It's like finding an eye doctor who's a shooter, and you get I know people who've taken the pistols into the eye doctor with their permission, of course, and get the prescription set up for their front sight. So just a thought there. If you have any ideas on shooting from a bench with a bad back, I would appreciate it. I know Austin would as well.